Hi, I'm Huell. And you know, it might be kind of fun to start off the program with a little quiz. What county in California ranks first in the state in mineral production, first in the state in oil production, and third in the country in production of agricultural products? Now, this county is the size of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Delaware combined. It has mountains and valleys and rivers and lakes and deserts. In fact, the only thing it doesn't have is a coastline. And all of this is located just a couple of hours from downtown LA. Well, I'm sure you've guessed it by now. The answer is Kern County. And recently we spent a week up here kind of nosing around, checking out some of the out-of-the-way places and meeting a lot of nice people. Well, there we were, our first day out, barreling down the highway. Might even have been going over the speed limit. On our way to the town of Randsburg, located up in the northeast corner of the county. Now, I was beginning to get nervous that we'd made the wrong turn somewhere and never would see another living soul. And then we crested a hill, and there it was. You really have to see this place to believe it, because at first you'd swear it was a movie set. But believe me, everything here is real. Randsburg was founded back in 1896 and at one time had thousands of residents. It was a gold mining town. Hundreds of mines all around these parts, and this place was bustling. Well, today things are a little quieter. Randsburg's population is down to several hundred hardy souls, but part of its gold mining tradition is still going strong. Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Howdy, I'm Huell from Los Angeles.
Glad to know you. I'm Cap Rome.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I'm Bill.
Nice
Hello,
to meet you, Bill.
Howdy, I'm Carl.
Nice to meet you, Carl. Don't let me interfere with what you're doing. What are you doing around
We're
here?
just getting ready to go down the mine shaft. Go to
You're
work.
going to go down in the mine.
Go down in the mine, go to work.
What is this, kind of a planning session or something you got going on
We
here?
always get together in the morning and figure out what we're going to do for the day.
Uh-huh.
And then we go down the hole.
Somebody had told me if I wanted to sample what it used to be like around Randsburg, if I wanted to meet some honest-to-goodness gold miners who were characters on top of that, I should go up to the Big Butte mine located right on the edge of town and spend some time with the guys who were working it. Well, that's what I did, and I wasn't disappointed. You talk about the real thing. These guys have been at it all their lives, and now they've leased and are working away in the last underground hard rock gold mine still operating in the area. Now, when you're in a situation like this, everybody kind of sits around and talks and feels each other out. And I was having a good time, but then I kept noticing that they were calling me this strange name, Flatlander. Now, what do you mean by Flatlanders?
That's you Los Angeles boys.
Los Angeles people.
Is that what you call me, as a Flatlander?
Flatlander, right.
Is that what I am?
Sometimes an ill alien.
That's anybody that don't live on the hill. Matter of fact, it's
in this
anybody.
desert. Everybody's been up in this desert very long. They're
That's anybody that has nothing to do with mining.
Is a
It's a
Flatlander.
Flatlander.
Well, I hate to admit it, but I guess I'm a Flatlander.
yeah.
I appreciate y'all putting up with me.
Well, you see this gold.
Oh,
area.
we got to put up with you.
Well, not only did they put up with me, but they offered to take me down into their underground domain.
Okay. Just get on the skip there.
Okay. Now, how far down am I going to go? About 100?
Now you go
200?
down. Yeah, you're going down to 100-foot level.
Okay.
And keep your head back. It's just as safe as
Safe as what?
everything, anything you're in.
Okay.
Elevator or anything.
What am I going to see on my way down?
Just a rock.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for it. I'm not going to see any gold on my way down.
No,
Okay.
just rock.
I'm ready.
Okay, take him down.
Down to the 100.
Down to 100.
Bye.
We'll see you down there.
Whoa, lots of rock. Not much else. Woohoo! A strange and fun elevator ride, and it didn't take long either. And then as soon as I got off, Cap came down right after me. Well, here we are.
We're down here on the 100.
And right below us here, if we went further down, we got another 400 below this.
Yeah, you got another 400 below that.
Well, let's just stay here on the 100.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on the 100.
Okay, let's go on. Can we go down the shaft now and take a look?
Yeah, go down the shaft and we'll start working.
You got a pick for me, eh?
Yeah.
And then we were off on this incredible journey back through the mine shafts, some of which had been dug before the turn of the century. And walking through these shafts, you couldn't help but wonder about all the men who had worked there over the years, all the hopes and dreams they had. I know one thing I discovered right away from being around these particular miners. Men who spend their lives underground in search of gold are indeed a special breed.
When you set up and drill and you dynamite, in other words, you go through this wall, you don't know what you're going to get. In other words, you're looking for the gold, of course, but most of the time you find nothing. But when you do, though, that's that exhilaration. That's
Yeah, it gets in your blood.
You mean there's a possibility that right on the other side of this wall right here would be a big vein of gold?
it's possible.
Well,
Have you ever
it's
run across
possible.
anything like that, or do you
Yeah,
just...
right here.
Right there. So
You see that cross vein running through there? We got good gold right here.
What does it look like when you see it up there? Is it a big thick vein of gold? Does it look like gold?
No, it just looked like a vein. But you know if it's a gold vein or not by looking at it.
Cap, let's show them this one here. This is a rich one.
Yeah, now there's some rich.
I'm gonna have to turn
This
the light
here will go about
there.
4 to 5 ounces right there. That gold.
Oh, that's
streak
gold
there.
right there.
Right.
That's a gold vein.
Right.
Well, why aren't you getting it out? Why are you
Well-
leaving it up there?
We'll get it in time.
Or else I'll come back down here at night.
I know where it is now.
I'll have to watch you.
And one thing too, nobody bothers you down here.
No, I ain't got no yak from anybody, and
Nobody bothers you. I mean, nobody. Except your partners sometimes.
Do you ever get on each other's nerves down
Every day, every day.
I hear them hollering down here every once in a while.
Do you think that there's a lot more down here that you haven't gotten to yet?
Oh yeah, sure.
I
We
mean,
just
big
gotta-
money down
it gotta be
here?
explored.
Is there big money
yeah.
down here, or is there just
Well,
kind
see,
of...
that's what we don't know. That's what keeps us here, hoping that it is.
We hit it.
I mean, it's
It is big. See, we got ore all the time, but we wanted more, bigger,
greedy.
richer.
Yeah, we're getting greedy. That's all.
This here is leverite
Leverite.
rock.
Leverite rock. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
That means you leave it right there.
You run across a lot of leverites?
There's a lot of leverite. You can see it all over.
Well, it looks kind of like gold. It's got a little bit of color in it there.
Shines a little bit, but there's nothing in it. That's leverite.
If you won the $52 million lottery ticket, you wouldn't quit your job. You just buy the mine and keep going.
We just buy better equipment and keep going.
Hire a few people to do the work here.
But in other words, no matter how much gold you found down here,
They always go back.
you'd still go back.
And you don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
whether you get any or not. That's the thing. That's the difference between a miner and some city slicker that comes out here because he's read too many books. You know, there's a lot of them guys come out here all the time, and they get real frustrated because they don't get rich in the first year. But you work for a whole year and you only get $100, but you don't care because it's what you like.
No doubt about it, the Big Butte Mine is a throwback to days past. The old underground mine itself, the old-timey ore buckets and ore cars, the stamp mill where the ore is crushed, operating exactly the same way it did when it first started up at the turn of the century. Now, I don't know exactly what I'd expected to find, but I wasn't disappointed because not only did I get an up-close look at an old-timey mining operation, but I got to meet and spend some time with Cap, Bill, and Carl, 3 miners still working away at their dream. Now there's a lot of mining going on in Kern County, not all of it for gold. And next we headed to the western part of the county to visit a place a lot of the locals had told me I had to see. A place where they were mining for opal sedimentary clay, which I can assure you most of us know by another, more common name. Now, it's always fun to try and guess these things, so here are some facts about opal sedimentary clay. See if you can figure out what common name we call it, what it's used for. Well, first off, this clay is extremely lightweight. It's also extremely absorbent. In fact, it can absorb up to its own weight in liquid. It's a perfect sponge, even absorbs odor. And watching this clay being scooped out of the side of a mountain and loaded onto giant trucks in order to be taken to a processing plant, it's hard to believe what this stuff really is. Ready for the answer?
What's a cat?
Welcome to XL Mineral Company's cat litter mine. That's right, cat litter, which is the term we use instead of saying opal sedimentary clay. Now there's over 6,000 acres of raw cat litter here, mountains of it. In fact, they say there's a 1 million year supply of cat litter in this area. Now don't even ask me how they came up with that figure. Anyway, Faye Rutledge, the Senior Vice President of Operations, took me on a tour of the mining area, explained it all to me, even showed me how you can test how absorbent this stuff is by putting it on your tongue. Now, it sticks there, and then when you take it off, the moisture from your tongue immediately evaporates. All of this almost too exciting to bear. So next, it was off to the cat litter processing plant, located a few miles away just outside of Taft. Now this plant also processes agricultural, industrial, and hazardous waste absorbents, but its main business is turning out cat litter. I want to take a close look at this stuff because I don't think I've ever really examined it very well. Now this is the same stuff basically that we saw coming out of the side of the mountain just down the road.
That's right.
It's just been, what, ground down and...
Sized and screened and circulated, the dust removed, and odor put in it.
Now, is that what the little green things are?
That's right. That's Green Guard.
Green Guard, that's your deodorizer.
Right.
And you probably have a patent on that of
Yes,
some
we
kind,
do.
Don't you? Is there anything secret about the way you make this that you can't tell me?
No.
So that's that. All you ever wanted to know about cat litter and more. A special thanks to the good people at XL Mineral for giving us all this behind-the-scenes tour of their mine and processing plant. And the next time you buy your cat litter, don't ask for cat litter. Ask your grocery clerk for a bag of opal sedimentary clay. And if he doesn't know what you're talking about, well, obviously he's not a PBS viewer. You got a cat at home?
No, I don't.
No cat?
Nope.
You got a cat at home?
No cat.
No cat.
No, sir.
No cat?
No cat.
What have you got?
I got a whole bunch of dogs.
To be honest, no, I don't.
What have you got?
I have a Doberman.
Excuse me, do you have a cat?
No.
No cat?
No.
You think you might get one soon?
Thinking about it.
Thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's thinking about it. Excuse me, have you got a cat at home?
No, I don't.
Have you ever had a cat?
No?
Do you want a cat?
No. Not at all.
Well, don't you think it's a little strange that you work for Johnny Cat and you don't even want a cat?
Well, at one time I might have taken a cat, but now I certainly won't take a cat. Even if offered one.
I didn't think I was ever going to find a cat or anybody who had a cat. And then one of the guys told me that if we'd head over to the little town of Rosamond, about 100 miles east, we'd be sure to find a cat. We found a cat, all right, a big cat. a Siberian tiger to be exact, who goes by the name of Teddy. Now, Teddy and her friends live at the Exotic Feline Breeding Compound right outside Rosamond. And the compound really is quite a special place.
Now, these cats have really thick fur, and that's so it can keep them warm in the cold and the snow. And they have big feet, and their feet are a little bit bigger than most cats for their size because they use them like snowshoes so they don't fall through the snow.
Now, you might be thinking this is a zoo, but really it's not, because in addition to all the school kids who come through each year and learn about cats up close, this compound is one of only 2 breeding facilities for exotic felines in the United States. There are over 42 cats here, representing 13 species, all of which have been designated as either endangered or threatened in the wild. Now, the purpose of the compound is, number 1, to promote sound captive breeding of these endangered cats, and number 2, to educate the public about these beautiful animals.
This is Buttons. She's one of the first babies ever born here. She was born in July 1971.
And she loves to be rubbed under the neck.
Oh, yeah. She's just mostly like a house cat, except that she's larger and spunkier.
Now, presiding over all this activity is Jeannie Maynard, who, along with her husband, opened up the facility back in the 70s. She loves these cats. You can see that right off. And she and her all-volunteer staff also love to talk about them and show them off.
She was born in the house during September. She was one of a litter of 3. And because it was, by the time they were going to come outside, it was snowing. She and her 2 litter mates got to stay in the house until March.
So she's like a big pet.
She's easygoing. She's awfully large to have in the house.
But I mean, you can put your face right up there and...
Yeah, I'm her mama. Yeah. That's one of the joys of being here.
Now, what would happen if I put my hand in there?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Really?
She doesn't know you, and she is an adult, and she might nip it.
But she knows you just like that.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Oh, look. Yeah. The kids love him.
Oh, yes. He's a real popular item here. And if you can actually feel the spots on him.
Whoa. Now, what's he doing with his...
Now, he's just going to bite your
He's just going to chew on your leg a little.
Oh. Okay.
No, it's just love bites.
Oh, love bites.
He's just rambunctious.
Yeah.
Mac, leave it alone.
Now, who is this?
This is Peaches.
Peaches.
She's a South American ocelot.
Oh, wow. I've never seen an ocelot. Aren't they beautiful?
Now, these cats actually used to live here in the United States a long time ago. As far north as San Francisco and as far east as Arkansas.
Where are they now?
Just basically South and Central America. A few possibly scattered up into Mexico. And they're very endangered, as all the spots and stripes are, because men are making fur coats out of them.
Oh, they're making fur coats out of animals like this.
Oh, yes. We think it looks better on Peaches.
Oh, it sure does, Peaches. You look great.
We want to see them survive.
Now, what do you mean you want to see them survive?
Well, I'm just a new grandmother, and I would like to see my grandchildren see the tigers and the leopards. You know, what would it be without tigers and leopards?
Are these animals, many of them, really endangered?
Every one of them. Every one of them.
Do you think you're making a difference?
Here in this valley and the people that we've reached, yes. I really think we are.
Just touch the back of his head and feel how soft his feathers are.
He is soft.
Keep your fingers away from his beak and from his talons. Isn't he soft?
You know, I discovered right away that there are lots of people in Kern County who care about animals, because the very next day we visited the Facility for Animal Care and Treatment, FACT for short, which is located on the Cal State Bakersfield campus and serves as a refuge for injured animals and birds. Birds like this magnificent golden eagle, this red-tailed hawk, and take a look at this great horned owl. Now there's a bird who can stare you down. And here's an American kestrel, a falcon, which is sometimes called a sparrowhawk. And if you want to see a strange-looking bird, Check out these barn owls. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Now, this refuge, nestled in a quiet corner of the campus, is lovingly operated by its founder, Dr. Ted Murphy.
There are times when we are overloaded. At one point, a year or so ago, we had 75 animals here and about that many in foster homes, and our original design was for about 20 animals. We give tours and school programs to from 8,000 to 10,000 people a year, and most of that is done by our college students, so they get some valuable experience there, and we get a message to a lot of people through our schoolwork.
Now, the main goal of the facility is to treat and care for these beautiful birds until they're big enough and healthy enough to be turned back to the wild where they belong. Now, to test the birds to make sure they're ready, Ted literally attaches them to the end of a fishing line to see if they can fly. This red-tailed hawk didn't go very far. He wasn't ready to go off yet on his own. But on another test flight, this barn owl passed with flying colors. And it was obvious that it was then time to remove the line and literally set him free. Is he ready?
He's ready.
So this is the moment really that everybody works toward, which is allowing the bird to go back out in the free where it belongs.
Yes, and it's one of the happiest chores out here because there's so many other things that are not that pleasant or that rewarding. This is really the payoff.
So this bird is ready to be free now.
It should be able to take care of itself and probably produce its own young next year.
Okay, here he goes. From the campus of Cal State Bakersfield, we next traveled east to the Mojave Desert, which is a desolate yet beautiful area. I don't think I have ever seen a sky as blue. We went to the desert to meet a man who calls this place home. He lives in this small trailer, which is literally miles from anywhere. And some of the time you can find him there playing with his 2 dogs. But most of the time, he and the dogs have work to do. When Andreas Darriet and his dogs go about the business of herding sheep, they're carrying on a proud tradition. You see, Andreas is from the Basque country in Spain, and for well over 100 years now, Basque have been coming to Kern County from Spain and France to herd sheep. They stay about 3 years at a time, living and working under these isolated and lonely kinds of situations. And then they either return to their native countries with the money they've saved, or they stay in Kern County permanently. For example, the county now has several thousand Basque citizens. And one of those citizens is Francisco Echeverria, who came to Kern County as a shepherd when he was just a young boy and decided to stay. Well, today he and his family own over 15,000 sheep, and he's president of the Wool Growers Association. He's also very aware of the importance of continuing this Basque tradition. It's pretty lonely, isn't it?
It is lonely, and used to be lonelier before. You know, long time ago, especially we came here 35 years ago, and on that time it wasn't very many roads here in the desert, and we used to have our donkey or burro to carry our things, and that's how we used to make a living. But today they have trailer houses, little trailer houses, and they have trucks to haul water, and they got somebody to see almost every day or every other day.
Somebody comes out to check on them.
Yes.
Bota, Charlie. Bota. Ho! Bota, me. Ho! Bota.
Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. They're glad to see somebody new,
Oh,
aren't
yes,
they?
yes, they are.
Do they get lonely too?
I guess. But when they're together and the sheep, they play all day long.
Charlie, lindo, hui.
It is a lonely existence, literally out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And what an incongruous picture. Jet planes from nearby Edwards Air Force Base scream overhead, while on the desert floor, a Basque shepherd and his dogs continue to herd sheep, part of a Kern County tradition, largely unchanged for centuries. Now, we spent a whole week in Kern County, a lot of it on the road, getting from one place to another. We went to the little town of Boron, had lunch at the local town hangout, which is called the Coffee Mug, toured the 20 Mule Team Museum, and generally got the red carpet treatment, including a look at the famous pit where they mine borax. And then we went about 150 miles in the other direction and visited the site of the Lakeview Gusher, which just happens to have been the largest oil well in California history. Then we went, I don't know how many miles in another direction and got the $5 tour of the town of Fellows, which is an old oil town rich in history. And then we spent some time in Bakersfield itself, which is a modern, hustling, bustling city where about half the county's residents live. Now, I gotta be honest with you, I do not work for the Kern County Chamber of Commerce or anything like that. But I gotta tell you firsthand, I don't think I have ever had as much fun or met as many nice people. I'm going back every chance I get, because as far as I'm concerned, the stories and the adventures are just beginning. I've just scratched the surface. Well, our week-long visit to Kern County is just about over, but before we headed back to Los Angeles, I thought we'd stop for lunch. And what better place to eat than a real Bakersfield landmark, Noriega's. Now, this is a Basque restaurant, and every day what happens is that you have a seating at 12 o'clock, is that right?
Yes.
And everybody just kind of comes in and sits down, and the food is all served family style, and believe me, it's great. I want to thank the people of Kern County for their friendliness, for their hospitality, and most of all, for sharing their stories with us. It's easy to know why they call this place the Golden Empire. I'm Huell Hauser. Good night. Now, I want to have some of that roast beef. Can I have it?
You did a good job, Huell. Now you can have your roast beef.
I'm glad I was born in the heart of the West. The West is in my soul. I'm glad that I'm living where life's at its best. The best old ranges roll. I'm up with the lark at the break of each dawn. I ride till the sun turns gold. In the sky he always was, and he always will, because the West is in my soul.
I've been all around the world. I've been to everywhere, and I still like to come back here and live.
Well, this is it right here.
Yeah, well, this is it.